I started out as a countertop person in countertops. I couldn't go anywhere. Nobody would have anything with me. So I quit there and I went to work for the machine shop company. And then that's where that previous story I talked about happened. And at that point, I'm like, holy shit. Like, people are not recognizing my capacity here. So I went back to work for the countertops source, the countertop store. And their name is Countertop Source. And I grew up a little bit there. I got a little bit of recognition. I got a little bit of confidence growing there, running their CNC and that, but it just never stuck. So I quit there and went framing. And that's when my career started. And I was the busy dude like you were when you first started working for TecTonon. I was really busy. I was always there. I was proactive, a little too proactive at times, and bashed my teeth out twice trying to run around and do shit in the trusses and all that. And but what one of the bosses did not recognize anything. Actually, two of the bosses, they didn't recognize anything. They didn't see the potential. And how it worked is like you had the CEO, and then you had two other partners that was running crews, running jobs, right? And I wasn't being recognized by the CEO, and I wasn't being recognized by one of the ones that I was working with for a long time. But once that shifted and I started working with the other boss, then he recognized it like that. And he immediately put a pickup crew underneath me. He immediately just started having me do things. We were doing a $2.5 million job. And I keep in mind, I'm only 21 years old here. We were doing a $2.5 million job. And he says, Nate, you are running this job. I'll run the crew. I'll direct the crew where to go, because the crew don't have confidence in you yet. But you're running the job. You're managing the material. You're managing the communications with the superintendent. You're managing all that. And it blew my mind that he did this for me. But it is exactly what I wanted, and it's exactly what I needed to build the confidence to go from there. And then after that, he, like, backstory, like he was sent away from the church. And at that point, I fell kind of back down where nobody had recognition. But by this time, the CEO had recognition, because this other boss had recognition. So, but I wasn't going anywhere at that point. They kind of declined because some legal issues, and so I needed to move up. And from there, I just went to different companies. So to your point, you do need to move. Go as far as you can in one company, and then move on to another company that does have confidence and that will recognize it.
I actually had a little bit of the same story with that same company, because that's where we first met, and we hit it off. Is that same CEO? I went there. Funny enough, that I never got to work with the crew boss that you did click with, that did recognize. I worked with the other one, and he recognized it in me. But he put me in an area that he just kind of like, yeah, cool, that's cool. Yeah, just go right here and excel right here. But I'm not going to pay you more. Just perform very well here. And I bothered the shit out of me. So I tried to get to the other boss, but I couldn't. I just got undermined. But I was like a, 18 or actually 16-year-old kid.
Yeah, you were 16.
And so what credibility do I have? They're just like, yeah. The CEO, I had battles and battles with him, trying to get him to, hey, put me here, do this, do that. He just like, oh no, just stay here. Kind of like that, the other boss.
Yeah. But yeah, like I think we have a lot of the same similarities growing up in businesses. And what happened when I quit that framing company is I decided, okay, I want to learn more about the business. So I found a company that would trust me and teach me how it worked on the project manager and the estimating side. And at this point, I weren't trying to become an entrepreneur. I just wanted to be a great entrepreneur. So talk a little bit about your experiences as an entrepreneur in TecTonon, and how, if so, I believe it's true, but if you believe it's true or you don't believe it's true, talk about how your ability to grow and become a bigger and bigger part of TecTonon as an entrepreneur has satisfied that hunger.
So right out of the gates, you had barely started TecTonon. I was still working for that other company. And I noticed that as we're kind of in these both wild animals needing to do just like go build the world, but we couldn't find that with the companies. And so you started that, and I recognized it, and you was only going for like a month. I immediately noticed, and I was over here. And with that, there's two minds that ultimately sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And so I just got right in. I'm like, hey, we need to do this and this and this and this and this. And you can go as hard and as fast as you want. And not only that, you have a CEO that's helping you, that's coaching you, say, hey, hurry up, you come this way, do that. And so that's the ultimate satisfaction, is all of the paddles you dealt with at the previous company that you weren't getting the recognition. Now you have all the recognition. But more so than that, there's so many areas and avenues that you can pursue. Whether you do better at this or whether you do better at that, you can excel in that and just take it.
One of the things that I targeted when I jumped from company to company after the machine shop company is I targeted companies I felt like had a higher ceiling each time. It's a key thing. Does it have a high ceiling? And you're never going to settle. Like people like you and I that's entrepreneur/intrapreneur, we're not going to settle. So if the ceiling isn't endless, there's a time limit on our time together, right? And I recognize that because I used to be that person that wanted the ceiling. I literally did. Like I didn't want the ceiling, sorry. And so when I went to work for G10 Construction, great company, after the framing company, then there wasn't so much a ceiling there of why I quit other than I wanted to do bigger jobs. And so an opportunity came up with G10's competition to hire me that was doing bigger jobs and would satisfy that addiction to do bigger things.
Yes.
And when I was with BCI, who's a great company now, now that a lot of their partners have been exited, it's a great company now. I actually very much respect James Barlow. Go follow him on LinkedIn, BCI Construction, BCI Steel. He's a CEO there. He's a great mentor. But the point is he gave me the opportunity to think bigger, and he gave me the opportunity to do bigger things. And so I had no reason to think I wasn't going to be there for life. Literally, I had no reason to think that until these other partners that outvoted or that could outvote James Barlow pretty much says, like, Nate's not going anywhere in the business. And it was my ambition, it was my drive and all that really intimidated these partners.
Threatening them.
And that's why that's ultimately my opinion on why they're out of the business now.
Yeah.
Is they just had a ceiling. They wanted a ceiling. They couldn't see above a ceiling. Like, implement someone to take over your job. Why isn't that better? Right? Like, why isn't that something that you're able to
It comes from a limited mindset of the one-itis, like, oh, I want to cling to this because what am I going to do if I get outvoted?
Like,
rather than upgrading
am
yourself.
I going to become someone that's not admired? Like, is it going to give me less authority? Like, who cares about authority? What about your baby just growing? What about your company just growing, right? And I had great success at BCI. Like, nobody there, James Barlow won't say I didn't perform for him, right?
Yeah.
But it just was clear to me, and I had a great friend, relative that I hung out a lot at that time, just says, Nate, why don't you start your own business? And boom, that's where we're at. So point is you've all heard of my history with that. So I'm not trying to get in that. I'm trying to help the entrepreneur go up in the business, right?
Well,
and you don't need to be an entrepreneur. I'm telling you, the stress is endless. The stress is outrageously hard. It is way funner to be a great paid. If you're not paid, you need to get paid. A great paid entrepreneur.
Yes. But more on that, you didn't want to be the entrepreneur. You wanted to be a great entrepreneur, but there was nothing that could offer you that. And so you had to you were kind of forced to become the entrepreneur. And now all of these entrepreneurs can come and follow you and come and be a part of your team. And I actually have friends and relatives that would be a great entrepreneur, but they're working for a company that they've been stuck because they can't move up. They're at the top. They're stuck. And I'm trying to coach them and say, hey, go find someone, whether that's over here with us or someone else that was forced to start a business. Go join their team and send it. Full send.
Absolutely. I think it's super important to make sure that you are always improving, because if your boss doesn't want you to improve, what kind of boss is that, right? Like, and if your boss ain't giving you the opportunity to improve, you need to find a new boss. And it's just important that, like, entrepreneur-like people, and keep in mind, you're not going to have that much competition. If you are a great entrepreneur, you're not going to have much competition. Separate yourself from the mindset of, I don't want to do that because so-and-so is doing that. No, so-and-so is not doing that. Go do that, because you have no competition as an entrepreneur.
You have way more competition in a big business because they can just get another person. So if you have like a smaller, newer business within like the 5 to 10 year range that are still getting their systems going, you go in there, you can go absolute ham, especially if you have high energy like us.
So yeah, absolutely. But what I'm saying is the entrepreneur mindset has limited competition. Not very many people think that big. Not very many people really want that inside a business.
Yes.
You can literally get paid millions a year. Obviously, you need to grow with the company. You need to become that valuable to the company. But you, as an ambitious entrepreneur, I totally envision you being paid, making millions a year.